Oh, with delight now. It's a pleasure to introduce on my show now. We've got Sandy Summers joining me on my show. Welcome, Sandy Summers. Lovely to have you on. How are we doing today?
Hi, Dan. I'm really well. Thank you so much for having me on your show, and hello to all the listeners and viewers.
Great. No worries at all. Telling by your accent, where are you in the world right now?
I'm actually near a town called Cessnock in New South Wales. It's in the heart of the wine country, you might say. Not that I'm really into the wines, but yeah, it's not too far inland from Newcastle, about an hour in from Newcastle.
Nice.
So
And is it very countryside where you are, as we English
it
say?
is. It is. It really is. Getting a little bit away from the urban side of the Newcastle city, and yeah, I'm in the outskirts of a town here. It's nice and rural. We have a lot of trees around us, and yeah, so we get to see the countryside pretty well. It's
Do you
good.
get
We're
to
in
see
a
much wildlife there as well, like animals?
yeah, we get lots of visitors here. We've got some beautiful regular birds that come around here. We've got the magpies and the rosellas, and then we've got the kangaroos sometimes, and the littler wallabies as well that come along and feed off the grasses around here. So it's amazing. Some of the wildlife that's been here has been here for quite some time, and the generations have rolled through. So yeah, it's wonderful to see.
Beautiful. And surroundings, habitat, does that influence your songwriting at all?
Yes, I guess it does to some extent because it's quite relaxing and quiet out here. That's it. So I have my quiet times where I can just go into that moment and see what comes of it. Exactly.
Great. And Sandy Summers, that's a great stage name in itself as an artist name. Is
Thank
that your
you.
real name, or was it something that you concocted
It's a
when you
it's a
established?
stage it's a stage name that I established, and that came about around about January 2023, when when I started to go solo. Yeah, so I just gave some thought to myself and what I like about life, and I grew up loving the sun and loving the beach, and so I guess summer was an important part for me growing up in my younger years, and it seemed to have a great ring to it as well. So yeah, it's got some great benefits too because obviously I've named my EP Summer Storm, and I've got the songs of summer happening when I do my gigs up and around New South Wales. So yeah, it's got a lot of benefit to it. So that was a fluke.
No, that's good. Congratulations. It's good to have a stage name
Thanks.
people can remember. I'll certainly remember Sandy Summers. Goes hand in hand, Sandy with the beach and summer with the sun.
Yeah, exactly.
Lovely.
Thank you so
And what year were you established? When did you feel you finally got your big break? The ball started rolling.
Yeah, that'll be 2023, about midway through. That was when I released my first single, so around about July. So,
Also
yeah,
very
that's right.
recently then.
That's right. Yeah, so I haven't
Oh,
been singing all that long. I started probably about 8 years ago. So I'm a little bit of a late bloomer, unfortunately. I would have loved to have started this way back in my younger years, but I was doing other things. I have a banking career and I was off modeling as well. So I've had my share of good times in life, but this was always something knocking on the inside, wanting out of me. So I'm really glad that I've done something with it now. And it's proving to be, well, I might say successful. So it's I'm ticking boxes as I go along. So I don't feel like I'm not meant to be on this path, if that makes sense. I feel like this is really something that I need to be doing for myself. So it's really rewarding.
good for you. Well, at least you're pursuing what you want to do now.
Yeah,
Listening to your new single one step at a time. It's really nice on the ear. I like it. You got a
thank you.
nice quality to your voice as well. This song one step at a time. Could it mean like slow and carefully? How to go about one's activities or daily life?
Absolutely, yeah. There is a bit of trepidation, and even the single cover that I did the artwork for, it's got the blue sky with the clouds and the legs coming down through it, taking that step, not really knowing what's underneath you, not really knowing what's to come. There's a little bit of uncertainty, and I think that makes it fairly relatable to everyone. It's my fourth release from the EP, so it has a little bit of a soft country rock feel to it. Thanks for the compliment, by the way, on the vocals. Yeah, and it is essentially about relationship turmoil and not knowing whether you're heading in the right direction and taking that step to see if it's the right one or the wrong one. Yeah, and you've got that repetition as well in the chorus where it does repeat that main chorus line. And that repetitive behaviour can sometimes creep into relationships. I wrote this 10 years ago, so I hadn't really had too much writing experience, but it's interesting to see how it's gone because it's one of my youngest tracks that I've written and it's doing really well, better than my other releases. So whether or not that's because I'm gaining a little bit of momentum and people are starting to recognise my name and want to hear my music. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it's going. Thanks.
No worries. So this song actually was a sleeper hit. So been is the word dormant when it's been inactive, and then it's coming alive now.
Yeah, absolutely. You could say that because I've got probably about 20 works that are like this. They've just sat in the drawer and done not too much other than me readdressing them from time to time. So when I took my songs into the studio, the producer that I went with Simon Johnson, he's Hillbilly Hut in New South Wales, and I was quite you might say a bit embarrassed about my work. I didn't know whether it had potential, whether a producer would want to take me on, especially given the quality of work that Simon Johnson is associated with. So, but straight away he built up a confidence in me by making comments that the songs were good and he could see potential in them. So yeah, having that belief as well inspires you to do even more. So I'm
That's
really happy with the way that went.
that's a sure thing as well. So your new single, One Step at a Time. Johnny
Yeah.
Cash released a song called One Piece at a Time as well. Johnny Cash,
Oh,
a country legend in his own right. But who are your
yes.
kind of musical inspirations?
Okay, they vary from time to time, like throughout my musical life. Obviously, I've got the influences of the likes of Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton. But I was listening to rock as well. I was listening to Stevie Wright. I don't know if you remember Stevie Wright, way back in the not 80s or 90s, he released records. But then Madonna as well was a huge influence. But as I moved through my life, I guess my tastes change, and I love Miranda Lambert, and I'm just into Lainey Wilson at the moment. But as far as male artists go, there's a gentleman called Jeremy Renner. He's actually an actor, a USA actor, and some of the stuff that he's putting out is just incredible. So I've kind of got a little bit of a real interest in his work at the moment. But as far as country goes, yeah, I really love the artists around here and what they do,
Mm.
and these independent artists that I'm well not up against, but my works are being played alongside theirs, and I'm listening to them. I'm just so inspired by what they do. They're just incredible. These independent artists. So yeah, they've got a lot of potential.
Amazing. And Blue, I mentioned with you Blue Shamrock. That's One Happy Family, all the country artists on the Stevens roster there. What's the community like where you are in Australia? Do you all know each other?
Yeah, we do. It's quite a small community here. And I do have to thank Stephen. He's been wonderful. He's a huge support. He knows how busy I am as well. Obviously, being an independent artist, most of us do have main careers as well. So he knows that I've got another job that keeps me going and pays for this music that I do.
Mm.
But getting back to the communities, yes, we've got quite a small community here, and if there's any trouble in the community, we've got the communication means to sort of like put out any problems that are happening, and it just makes people aware. So having Facebook and those types of groups that you can touch base with to just sort of check on things from every now and again, that's very helpful,
Yeah.
especially during things like fires and floods, because we've had a few of those around here.
Mm. I know in the summer or in these months you hear it on the news here in the UK, like about the fires, terrible to hear. But it's
Yeah,
good that you
yeah.
got each other's backs down there. That's the main thing.
Yeah, that's right. And the same goes for the singing, the music community as well. The more that I connect with other artists, the stronger it just feels like a stronger community of music out there, and the support is there, and the belief, the self belief,
Mm.
is very strong as well. So everybody propping each other up. Yeah, it's a real good thing to
And
be involved.
being independent as well has its pluses. Can it have its challenges at times as well?
Yeah, I think so because I really don't know the right way of doing things. So it's just a matter of, well, everything, most of what I do is because of decisions that I'm making on my own. So unless I do a lot of research, I'm doing it for the first time. So it can be a little bit wrong at times,
Mm.
but I'm the type of person just likes to have a go and rip it off like a band-aid. And if it doesn't work, try
Mm.
something else. So, but yeah, the putting together of my EP and the way I've drip fed the singles from it, it seems to be working. So I won't change anything just yet,
Mm.
apart from more writing.
Yeah.
I'd love to do more
Yes.
writing.
Sure. Sometimes it's good to go with like your instincts, isn't it? As I say, your gut.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I don't know when I write more music whether I'll keep going down this same path with releasing it the same way or just try something different
Mm.
as well. It's always good to have a few different flavors in there too. So
Mm. Mm.
yeah.
Sometimes they say in music, there's no right or wrong answer, really.
Well, that's it. I suppose that goes for saying with all types of art
Mm.
because it's just self-expression, and
Yeah.
if it touches somebody other than yourself, well, that's great. If it touches the masses, well, that's just ingenious. So,
Mm.
yeah, it's
That's cool. And I wanted to ask about Tanworth as well. You have been a finalist and a most promising future star, if I stand correct. How does that
yes.
feel?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I got nominated for that. I was a finalist. That felt very rewarding. To think that I'd only been solo for, well, it was actually probably 9 months, and people were starting to recognise that I had potential and believe in me. And I guess that's what that those awards are all about because they're driven by people. They are the ones who vote for the artists. So that was very moving in itself to know that people could see a potential in me enough to vote for me and think that yeah, I was a promising future star. And the wonderful Lily Grace took out that category, but there were three other
Mm.
artists that were nominated there, and they were all just amazing in their own right. So to be amongst those names was quite, well, an accolade for me as well, but very rewarding.
Mm. It's
Yeah.
good you can add that to your list as well, your CV. Yeah,
Yes,
that's good.
absolutely.
We've got
Yeah.
Tanworth here in England. It's not far from Stratford-upon-Avon, where Shakespeare was born. Um,
Oh,
the
wow.
guy who was born there is famous. Is Nick Drake. He's a folk musician, believe it or not.
Okay,
Uh,
wow.
so
There you
we've got
go.
Tamworth, but your Tamworth's probably the most recognisable in the world.
It probably is. It wouldn't be as hot over there though as what it is in Tamworth here during the festival. But yeah, it was quite challenging up there with the weather the way it is. But all artists just again supportive of each other, and some of the businesses up there, and the Tamworth Council that run the event too. So it's a they do have quite a lot of care for their
Mm,
both their patrons that are coming to see the festival as well as the artists. So yeah, that makes it all a great community feel and
mm.
wonderful to be a part of.
Sure. And I know Tamworth is between Sydney halfway and what's the city above it? Is it
Brisbane
Brisbane?
in
Yeah.
Queensland.
You
Yeah,
so you've got two
that's right.
cities there between Tamworth. That's good.
That's right. You just need to zigzag a little bit in and then come back out to get up to Brisbane. But yeah, that would work. Obviously, up the New England Highway. There you go, New
Oh,
England Highway.
wow. Sounds good. And I just wanted to touch on one of your other tracks. It's called Devil in Her Heart. It's nearly hit 10,000 streams on Spotify. So congratulations
Yeah,
on that.
thank you so much. I love that song. That's probably my most favourite song. I don't know why, but I take a liking to these dark feeling songs with the darker chords in them, the minor chords. They put a different feel to a song, and I feel like that was my well, that one has my outlaw feel to it. So that was very, very nice to try something different with that. And that was inspired by a group called Brothers Osborne. The Brothers Osborne did a track which had a little bit of the Willie Nelson song in it called "On the Road Again." They just took a snippet from his song and then they did some lyrics in their verses, and I really liked that song. And I guess I was listening to that at the time, and again, that's the song that came out of that influence. So it's interesting. It can just take one thing, and then you're influenced by it.
Mm,
It
that's
hits
really
the right
good.
chord.
Yeah, I know numbers don't really matter, but 10,000, that's very respectable. So you should be pleased with
Thank
yourself with that.
you. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, very pleased.
And
Yes.
just doing some homework, people who listen to your music also listen to Travis Collins, um, the Clements,
Climates. Emma
yeah, that's the one,
Climates.
and Sandy Louise as well. So you're up there with those established artists. Well done.
Yeah, Sandy Louise is a good friend of mine. Sandy Louise has been very supportive of me as well. She's from Newcastle, so yeah, we're not too far apart. And Sandy runs a songwriting show I think it's every month, where artists just can go along and sing their original songs. You don't even have to have released them. If that's what you like to do, you can just go along and present your song. Um, Sandy has the PA and everything set up there, and a wonderful organised night. So it's like a walk up, essentially. And yeah,
I think we British we call it an open mic night, where you can
yeah,
like
exactly.
go on stage and do what you want to do, anything artistic, read a poem or sing a song or play a guitar.
Absolutely, and that's what this is like, and it's really good because she organises that, and she's a busy lady herself with her own music and work. Um, but yeah, it's interesting to see what comes out of that, and she welcomes anyone to come and have a try too. So
Cool. That's what
yeah,
it's all about, taking part, isn't it?
yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Anything else you may just like to say to the people who listen to your music?
Well, really just to thank them for their support, and if a song does resonate with them, to jump online on Spotify and Facebook and follow me, and yeah, just to thank them for their support.
Well, great having you on, Sandy Summers, a lovely lady, and great having you on the show. And going to play one of your singles now. It's going to be one step at a time. Would you like
I
to introduce it
really
on?
love that. Thank you so much. Thank you, DJ Sun. And this is my new single coming up right now. It's called One Step at a Time. Enjoy.
Thank you very much again.
Thank you. Thanks.